Okay, so I thought I'd make this video because a lot of people have been asking me why am I promoting FC points, and to be honest, I'm not. What I'm promoting is time, and time equals money at the end of the day. And I think obviously people like this mainly applies to people in the West, in Europe. So I can understand in the East is a whole completely different argument because of course the price of minimum wage and these are priced according to the Western market, not the Eastern market, whatever. But 1,000 FP points is £8 for what? For a month worth of content. Now, I don't spend money in the game. I only spend money on my if I'm doing evolution or whatever I need to do for business. But I never spent money apart from that. But this game is relatively cheap as a hobby. Okay, now I'm talking about the West anyway. In the UK, an average KFC meal costs £10. So I'm actually getting a month's worth of content and a lot of free cards, like that Ribery card, for the price of £8. It's absolutely worth it. And that is why I mean it's worth spending the money. Like I'll give you an example. I like cars. I spend a fortune on my car. I could, if I want to, I can go out and buy a diesel, buy a hybrid, and get like 35 miles per gallon. I get like 10, 12. I'm putting E5 petrol in every 3 days. I like cars. I'm spending thousands upon thousands every single year on my car because I love it. So at the end of the day, do what makes you happy, and it's all relative. When I was a student, for example, and let's say, for example, I was earning minimum wage when I was working in a bar or working in the union, right? It's a bit different. So when you're buying FP points when you're a student, it's a bit different because, like, when you're a student, you might take a bus for 3 hours to save £15, even though I didn't, but you might do it because you have an abundance of time when you're a student. When you're at university, look, I did a degree. I remember how I didn't even go to university lectures. I had so much spare time. But when you're older in life, let's say you're 30, 40 years old, you got regular life, you come home from work at 8 o'clock, you got kids. By the time you eat, put your kids to bed, you don't have time. Are you gonna waste time inside the game, wasting all this time? That's when time equals money. So just general argument, and this is for the young people here. I know most of my audience is 40, so most of you guys don't understand this. But anyone that's young here, remember this. Always equate yourself in terms of how much an hour is worth of your time. So let's say hypothetically you earn £10 per hour. If something costs £6, let's just say hypothetically you don't like cleaning. If you can get a cleaner for £6 and you work that extra hour, I know granted it depends on what job you do, you're actually making a £4 profit and you're doing something that you don't want to do because paying someone else to do it. So that is a logic that you should go by. I know it's a bit different from many different, but time equals money. So always equate. Now, I'll give you an example, right? So in September, I'm working 20-hour days, okay? Because FC has so much work to do. At that time, I order 3 times a day food. I don't do anything. Time is money. Me going somewhere, like let's say, for example, me going to the supermarket cost me more money than sitting here and just ordering the food. So the point I'm trying to say is, look, it's all relative. 1,000 FP points to a student is probably a lot of money. £8, okay, it's not that much, but let's just say maybe a student in the UK, £8. That's maybe their pre-drinks for that night out, or maybe that is like some food for them. That's a Subway. But if you're a billionaire and you're earning, for example, I don't know, let's say 5 mil net a year and you spend 10 grand on the game, it's nothing, it's peanuts for you. So it's all relative. So when I say FP points are worth it, what I'm really equating is time. £8 in the UK, the minimum wage now is £12 or whatever it is. After the April the 1st, it's £12 minimum wage. Let's exclude tax for a second. Most people can afford this in the West. I understand in the East, if you're from Middle East, from Asia, or any of those other countries, even Eastern European countries, I can understand where it's probably a bit more expensive, especially if you're in Asia, or like even the Latam regions. Don't get me wrong, I'm not disillusioned from the fact, I know, but I think most of my viewers, I think up to 80 to 90% are all in US, UK, or Western Europe. That is where most of my audience is. And that's why when I say it, and that's why I apply my knowledge. And that's why also, look, don't forget, the average person is 30, 40 years olds. My audience are not like 16-year-olds, 17-year-olds people think is much older. My average audience probably like the working person, the working professional, the guy who's got 2 kids, the guy who's got married, he's got 2 kids, he's got an hour to spend on the game, he doesn't have that much time. Or maybe the guy that wants to play with his family, or maybe the amount of people that want to play with their sons is ridiculous. It's unbelievable amount of numbers people. I used to play FC when I was a kid, or PES when I was a kid with my uncle. So when I talk about the prices, I'm saying, look, relatively it's cheap. So am I saying that you should go ahead and spend 1,000 FP points? No, I made that very clear in a video. If you want to grind, go ahead and grind. No one is saying that you have to spend this money. I even said in the video, unless you get level 40, maybe it's not even that worth it unless you want to grind it. So look, it's not like EA are holding you hostage and saying you have to buy this. You don't. It's your choice. And to be honest, if you didn't buy it, you're not going to miss out on much. Yeah, you can waste your time doing those untradeable upgrade packs and all that to make money. To be honest, those upgradable packs, I wouldn't waste, even unless I was a content creator who made money from doing those upgradable packs. I don't find it fun. Personally, I'm not spending my entire time in the menus. I just want to play the game and enjoy it. So that's what I want to say is, look, I understand when I'm speaking in the videos, a lot of people unfortunately think that this is just directed at one person. I understand there's people from different walks of life, from like 13 years old, wherever people watch, always up to 60, 70 years old, people that watch me, different age ranges, different groups. So I try to say it as a whole, and that is why when I say, is it worth it? In my opinion, when I'm saying the price, if this was 5K and what you got wasn't worth it, I would say no. But considering how you spend 1,000 FP points, or I have anyway, on evolutions, and the fact for level 40 you're going to get that Ribery card, I think it's personally worth it. Now, if you're against loot boxes or you don't want to spend money, that's completely fine. You could do it, the same way, for example, someone spends money on this game. There's t-shirts made in a factory. One's going to Primark, one goes to a high-end designer label. Same garbage t-shirt, same crap quality. One has got a stupid logo on it. People are paying £500 for it. I mean, if it was different quality, it would be different. But the same crappy t-shirt, one's going Primark, sold for £9. One goes online, someone stamps a little logo on it, no different quality, and that same t-shirt costs £600, advertised by a high-end fashion brand. So at the end of the day, people have the right to spend their money on whatever they want to spend. I like spending money on cars, football, experiences. Some people like spending their money on FC, or I don't know what people spend their money on, food. I like spending money on food as well, but whatever. You know the point I'm trying to say, travel, whatever. And I said, look, it's not like you're spending a massive amount of money. But look, I just wanted to make this video clear. This is not, again, at anyone, but this is because people keep asking me, oh, Neal, are you promoting FC points? Why are you trying to tell us to make us spend? No, I'm just advising you from the best of my knowledge and understand that not everyone has 500k and not every single person has time to play the game all day long. And that is why when the game comes out, my average viewer is 34 years old. Do you think they're going to spend 6 to 10 hours trading bloody silvers for 150 coins when the game comes out? No. In fact, probably it's more profitable to just literally spend £100 on the game when the game comes out, and then you can spend that time with your family, your job, or another business that you want to start doing, or whatever you want to do. But anyway, look, time equals money. Anyway, remember that for anyone that's young here. Catch you next time. Peace out.